episodes. In the episode 1, we talked about the influence of father in nurturing strong individual women with Deval Soparkar and Maitri Zaveri. In episode 2, we talked about dominating domains with Purvi Kotak and Hina Shah. And in episode 3, we talked about art to art enterprise with Shama Nagri, Sheetal Majitia, Rachna Mehta, Rajmati Binakia. And in episode 4, we are here once again with you talking about something which is very unusual. And that unusual is it's something which has not been talked about before with Dr. Riddhi Ketan Shukla and Dr. Sonal Desai. I'm happy to conceptualize all the 4 sessions in the series. And here, it's such a candid conversation. There is no formal conversation here. You can be free to you are free to share your comments in the Facebook, and I'll be keeping a tab on the comments in the Facebook, and we'll be taking that issue in our discussion. The today's topic, when we are talking about, is bridging the gap between adolescence to adulthood. It's the issue of transition from adolescence to young adults to adults. And there are a lot of physical, emotional, and social transition. Young adults are people trying to learn how to make their presence among the adults in the world. A phase where they are young enough, old enough. Yes, कभी वो बच्चे बन जाते हैं, कभी वो बड़े बन जाते हैं. And they need the right knowledge, the right guidance at the right age, right care at the right time from parents and educators. Right knowledge, right guidance, right age, right care, right time from parents and educators, especially from the parents and educators. They have to be in the right frame of mind with right state of emotions while dealing with them so that they can make the right decisions that seems to be right by all at the time. So this adolescence to young adult to adult is very interesting and challenging, not only for them, but for the parents and educators both. So today we're going to talk about these issues. And I'm looking forward for your active participation. I'll be checking, again, I'm saying I'll be checking the comments and I'll be taking the comments, your issues, which you are sharing with us through the comments with our experts today. Both the experts are actually gynecologists, but by passion, by profession, they are gynecologists, but by passion, they are adolescent sex health educators. When it comes to Dr. Riddhi Ketan Shukla, she is MD, DGO, PGD, HCM in a practicing gynecologist and obstetrician in the city of Ahmedabad. She's a director of Arogyam Specialty Hospital, Navrangpura. She's a meticulous surgeon and an excellent administrator. Postgraduate diploma in healthcare management as well. She's a director to JKSF Eurocare. She's a co-founder of NARI, chief consultant of SETU, a student support engagement and tutelage unit of Ahmedabad University. She is a pioneer of aesthetic gynec surgery, and she has been trained from European College of Aesthetic Medicine and Surgery for cosmetic gynecologists. She has established a brand called Women Vitality and established first ever vulva clinic to make women aware about their intimate health and hygiene. She's an advisory committee of DST. My another friend and co-speaker today is again a gynecologist, Dr. Sonal Desai from BJ Medical College by profession, but by passion, she's more of an educator. You can see her pictures with the girls sitting around, school girls especially, and that is what she dedicates for a decade before engaging herself in research and training program for teenage girls and young women. She has focused full-time on educating and guiding teenage girls as well as young women regarding their health and sexuality, making their life more productive and fulfilled. Before talking to Dr. Desai, I would like to share with all of you that today we are going to address both, not only about the girls, but about the girls and boys, both which needs to be understood in such a way that we bring the right balance at the right age. Because this, as I say, the right education with the right kind of expert is so important. So we are trying to bring all the rights together this time. And talking to Dr. Sonal Desai, there is so much to share with you, and the way you believe that there are so many cases of domestic sexual violence, and each and every woman has its own voice. And you would like to ensure that these voices are expressed and they are guided well. So keeping that in mind, Dr. Sonal Desai, I will quickly rush to my first question when it comes to you is, what is adolescence actually? When it comes to a lot of questions are there in the mind of people. And it always comes to this thought process is adolescence age है क्या, पहली बात तो ये क्यों इतनी चैलेंजिंग लगती है, क्यों पेरेंट्स को ऐसा लगता है कि हाय बाबा तौबा बच्चे कब बड़े हो जाए, एंड इसमें क्या challenges है, what are the challenges actually, because some of the challenges which we as parents feel or we as educator feel, but what are the actual scientific medical terms where those challenges are, what is that age?
Okay.
Then I mentioned the term called young adults. So let's try to, because it's a transition between adolescence to adult and become phases young adult. So today when I was sharing about this session, I got messages from women also. I have also have got a 19-year adult who says I'm an adult. And for me, abhi bhi bacha hai tu. So that kind of understanding is what is actually adolescence, what is actually young adult, what are the challenges that they face in the scientific and medical terminology. I would like to hear from you.
Right, Kritika ji. Good evening, every one of you. Basically, adolescence is an age from 10 to 19 years. And it is a very important period of life because of few reasons. One is there are so many changes that happen during this age: physical, emotional, psychosexual, and social changes. And adolescents don't have any scientific knowledge about it. Like for physical changes in girls, it starts at the age of 10 years, and it starts with development of breast, which is known as thelarchy. And then hair grows on axillary and pubic area. And then there will be growth spurt in which there will be sudden increase in height. And lastly, there will be menarche, that is beginning of the menstrual cycle. And when the menstrual cycle begins, they don't know how to manage it. And in boys also, which start the changes starts around the age of 12, 2 years later than the girls, and it starts with deepening of the boys. There will be beginning of showing hair on the face, as well as there will be beginning of the wet dreams. Wet dreams are involuntary ejaculation of the semen during sleep. And though they also don't have any idea at the age of 12 to 14 years. So that becomes the challenge. And emotions. Emotionally, this period is a roller coaster because sometimes they are very moody and they have so many different type of stress because of they they have peer pressure, and they are constantly worried about their appearance. They have academic pressure. So many a times they are in different mood swings, and this might lead to depression sometimes. And also, on other hand, suddenly they are very happy also. So this is the roller coaster of emotions. Sexual changes that Dr. Riddhi will tell about the sexual changes, and also social changes. Like you said, that people expect adolescent as an adult, but they are not adult yet. So that becomes a challenge for them also. So that is one.
I'll just try to interrupt you so that you can continue with this conversation. It's not people who, in today's time, it's not people who accept them to be adult. They want themselves to be taught as adult. Address as adult. I'm an adult.
Right.
So that is the so as a parent, most of them would feel that how to deal with that situation. For us, they are still kids, but still they are adult for their own self.
Exactly. That brain is not still adult. That brain is still of adolescence. So they are in a journey from a child to an adult. They are in between stage. And second reason why the challenges I would like to tell you is, like, there are certain things they can do about their body. If they are aware and if they put their efforts, there are things that they can, make some difference. For example, height. So in girls' case, the height stops, rather it the growth rate decreases after menarche, after beginning of the menstruation. Because the girls, that epiphyseal line of the bones closes under the effect of estrogen. But for that, if they do the activities, outdoor games, if they play out a lot of games and do exercise well, take nourishing food, then they can definitely make some change. because after menarche only 7 to 8 centimeter height increases. So that is also a challenge for them. And also in girls, the bone strength, which is very, very important, that they get bone strength during adolescence time only. After that, during reproductive age, that bone strength is maintained. So if they make their bones stronger during adolescence by taking nutritious food, calcium, and doing exercise, because by doing exercise only, that calcium in the blood will get deposited in the bones. So exercise is a very important part. So right food and right exercise, that has they have to make a habit, so they can do something about their own this life or the health. And then one more reason why this is challenging is like academic pressure and academic excellence. This is the time when they can show their academic excellence, because this is the foundation. This is the foundation on which if they score very good, then their kind can be changed completely in future. So these are the challenges they go through.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sonal Desai, and so nicely explained. Dr. Riddhi Ketan Shukla, I call you Riddhi because we have got I mean, you are always a senior to me in that case. But Riddhi, can you share the screen, or should I share the screen? Can you just make her co-host, please? Hello? Riddhi, you are a co-host, Riddhi. So now my question, when we discussed that Dr. Sonal Desai just mentioned that you will be sharing further among the sexual health of the kids, especially the girls and the boys both. Because today when we discuss that there are so many things happening with the girls, everyone is talking about girls, but no one talks about boys. What issues do they face during the puberty, during this phase, transition phase? And that plays a very important role for the health of a society. हम लड़कियों को बहुत कुछ चीजें समझाते थे because we see that there's a menstruation happening, so that for them the change is very I can say as it can be seen very openly. But when it comes to boys, these changes cannot be seen except their physical growth and the hairs and all. So वो बोलते हैं ना अभी तक तो मूछें भी नहीं आई है या दाढ़ी आनी शुरू हो गई है, तो लोग बोलना शुरू करते तो बड़ा हो रहा है अब दाढ़ी, and then this change in the voice. But that is the only physical change which they see, but we don't understand what is going through when it comes to psychosexual issues which they face. So I would like Dr. Riddhi Ketan Shukla to be talking about such the overall changes when it happens in the boys as well as the girls, and what are the things that they should know, because when we do the survey, most of the people are not even aware of it, apart from the students who have taken biology as a subject in grade 11 and 12. They get to know when actually are going through this phase when they are in grade 8 and 9. So when they go in grade 12, I think there's a sub chapter which is addressed, especially only when they take a subject called biology. Otherwise, no other subjects addresses these issues, and no other teachers also addresses these issues in the classroom. And forget about it, it's more about the parents who are having that kind of, I can say, as how to talk about it, about the bees and the birds. So talking to Riddhi, if you can share about your insight with your presentation, that would be very nice. हाँ, I can hear you. आवाज थोड़ी कम है आपकी. हाँ, लाइट आ रही है, but light आ रही है. Let me check on FB if I'm able to. Yes, please join.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Gitika? Can everyone hear?
Yeah. Ha, we can hear you. Please start.
Yeah, so start with my first slide.
Okay. Just a minute. Give me a moment. I'll start the sharing again. Done.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I don't think this is the first one. There is some other slide also.
This is the first one.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you very much, DPS Bhopal Ahmedabad, Flo, Nandidaji, Gitika, Dr. Sonal Desai for organizing this wonderful session. And as we all know that sexual health and sexual wellness is very much less talked about. So this is a very good initiative for starting a sessions like this. Next slide. Yeah. So with the changing times, we need to understand that mindset and perception of the youth in our society is completely different. Changes are happening very deeper level because there are various factors, like because they are more exposed to media or cross culture, or I would say there are more distractions and there are more freedom what we used to get. If you will see this in picture, that life was much more easier when apple and blackberry were just the fruits and they have not converted into a day-to-day life. Next. So when we are concerned about our youth and what we have seen in last epidemic as a COVID situation, what important most is the health and wellness. How can we define the wellness? So if you are not having any disease, then are you healthy? No. It just because you don't have any disease, any physical problem, that does not define you healthy. Being healthy, you need to have a positive mental, physical, emotional, social, and sexual health. So now the definition of wellness and health has completely changed. So we need to work on our positive aspects of wellness and health. Similarly, we need to work a lot on youth wellness and youth health. Next. So there is a new paradigm to the health, which is nowadays worldwide open, that is a sexual wellness. Sexual wellness is more about wellness and less about the sex. Sexual wellness is fundamental to overall health of every human being, because a person, if he or she is not sexually healthy, that does affect her overall health. And sexual wellness plays important role in life of individual, family, society, and world as a whole. So today we are going to talk with a different perspective, that is from view of a doctor, as a parent, as a teacher, or a teenager. What is sexual wellness? That's what we talked about. Why sexual wellness is important? Sexual health is very important because physical and mental health problem, if there are some problems in a sexual health or there is some sexual dysfunction, it directly contribute a person's physical and mental health problems. So sexual is not limited just to the absence of disease or dysfunction, but it is very important for overall health. And remember, it is not just confined to the reproductive years. Sexual wellness starts right from the childhood and up to the late age also. It is very important. Next. According to World Health Organization, depression is very common mental disorder globally, and it is going to be a #1 killer worldwide as far as physical health is concerned. So depression is a leading cause of death according to World Health Organization, and there is a bidirectional association between depression and sexual dysfunction. These are various studies which shows that if person is having some sexual problem, that can be a cause of a depression and vice versa. Next. So when we have to define the sexual health, it is a state of physical, mental, social well-being in relation to sexuality. It requires respectful and positive approach to the relationship, and a child or a person should be able to enjoy her sexual well-being and her experience, and it should be completely free of coercion, discrimination, and any violence. So if we should not go by the definitions, because each culture, subculture, and every person has a different perspective about the sexuality. What are the negative consequences of the sex? See, sex and sexuality is a very routine part of our day-to-day life. Okay. But it comes with the negative consequences as infections, other sexually transmitted disease, infertility, or cancers. There can be unintended pregnancies, abortions, sexual dysfunction, and sexual violence. There can be some harmful practice in certain culture. Next. So there are various components of sexual wellness. That is sexual orientation, sexual behavior, gender identity, sexual expression, relationship issues, as well as pleasures. Looking to changing scenario. As I said, that every culture and subculture has different definition of sexual and sexuality. In India, still sex and sexuality is considered as a taboo. But we need to know that it is a natural need. It has to be lived by choice, not a chance. In Indian society, sexual wellness is very important because sexuality is gained in a married life. So there should be a healthy relationship between a couple, and if there are any issues between the couple or a partner, that has to be addressed at earliest. Next. What is our role as a doctor, as a parent, as a health educator is to generate awareness, to emphasize in a sexual wellness, to deal with some unspoken issues, and to educate people about sexual health, to offer latest technology available worldwide to resolve sexual dysfunction and problems. Awareness is for whom? It is for society at large, young minds, parents, education leaders. Of course, they can create a magic because they are the people who can mold the young mind, and parents can change the perspective about of young minds about the sex and sexuality. Every culture has a different ways of reaching to the society, or every society has every culture, Western culture or Indian culture has a different way of generating the awareness. In India, means can be different compared to the Western world. So awareness needs to be done at all the level. Any change in a mindset or any acceptance does not come overnight. It has to be accepted by all the strata of the society. So today's teen, as we know, that they do talk to Google or internet more than to their parents or moms. Today's generation is Google generation. They Google each and every problem. It is just a finger click away. But we know that Google is the worst doctor on the earth, and there are so many unauthenticated, unfiltered informations available. So peers or young mind do not know what to click, what to see, what are right, what are wrong. So we need to teach our kids that everything cannot be Googled, and there has to be a definitive, proper way of learning everything. Sexual behavior, it differs with the growing age. Starting from the 0 to 4 years, medical science has defined sexual behavior of a children in various age group, 0 to 4 years, 5 to 12 years, 12 to 16 years, like that. We need to know as a parent, as a doctor, as a health educator, that what is normal and what is abnormal behavior. For young age, 0 to 4 years, if young kids are touching their genitalia or they are rubbing occasionally, that is a normal behavior. As a child is growing, say 5 to 9 years, if they are curious about their genitalia, they are asking some questions, these are the normal behavior. Growing age 9 to 12 years, if they are reading some sex material, if they are hugging or kissing and holding hand, that is a normal behavior. So, and more 12 to 16 years, if they are trying to get into a relationship, trying to talking to a peer about the sexual things, these are all normal behavior, these are not abnormal behavior. So as a parent and sexual educator, we need to know that what are the normal behavior and what are the abnormal behavior. We do not overreact to normal sexual behavior. We must understand or differentiate between normal and abnormal behavior. Punishing your child for touching her genitalia or kissing some other sex occasionally or out of curiosity is a part of normal behavior. They should not be punished. Instead, they should be held down. So if you find that there are some abnormal behavior, they can be modified at a younger age. How can we modify the abnormal behavior? So as a parent, as a teacher, or as a responsible adult, when some adolescent or young child is doing some behavior, we need to find out, okay, this is abnormal behavior. In what circumstances they are doing this abnormal behavior? We need to protect our child for going for this abnormal behavior. How can we protect? By guiding them, we have to make them understand that this is acceptable, this is not acceptable. And when you know that your child is behaving abnormally, it is our responsibility, moral responsibility, to protect our child until and he or she learns the normal behavior. So when our child is in a group with other children and we find out that he or she is into some abnormal behavior, we have to protect them. We have to make them understand that what is normal, what is abnormal. By you, so you have to guide them. You have to provide them the right information. You have to start talking to them about their body parts, about their behavior. So what are our? We have to share our feelings. We have to share our attitudes. We have to teach them what is right, what is wrong. And of course, we have to protect them from behaving in certain ways. How can we protect? We have to start with the basic things. So as an educator or as a parent, you have to make them understand about their human reproductive system, their external and internal body parts. I remember when we used to be in school, when there is a chapters in biology about the anatomy of the body parts, teacher used to tell us कि ये chapters आप घर जाके पढ़ लेना, अगर कोई questions है तो मुझे पूछ लेना. So teachers in back those days were not readily open to read chapters openly. But now things have changed. Children know so much before they come to the school. So we have to start them, teach the basics quite an early age. You have to make them understand about their body parts.
I think what you mentioned here is so right, Dr. Riddhi. It's more about understanding human reproductive system as one more system of the body. The way we teach circulatory system, with the way we teach digestive system, in the same way the reproductive system also has to be taken care of. Am I right in that case? Because, you know, it has to be addressed in the same line as we are talking about any other part of the body and explaining them with proper diagrams and with proper detailing.
So we have to teach them this is a life cycle. Every child, when they are growing, they are curious that why their breasts are growing, why he is having mustache. why height is growing. So there is you have to make them understand there is a hormones called gonadal hormones. They play a very important role. When a child is growing from adolescent age group, there are very much physical changes as well as mental and emotional changing are growing. They are having curiosity, they are having sexual desire. So as a parent, as a health educator, as a adult, we have to make them understand that all these changes are because of gonadal hormones. What are the hormones? What changes are going to happen? Your breast will grow in this definitive manner. Your pubic hair or axillary hair will grow in this manner. Sometimes boys are very much conscious because her mustache and beards are not growing and other child are growing. Girls are curious because all the other girls are started having menses and girls are lacking behind in getting her breast development or menses. So we have to make them understand that it is not coming over the day. It is not an overnight change. This adolescent changes is a time of 4 to 5 years. During these many years, gradually you will grow. In some child, puberty will come early. In some child, pubertal changes will come late. So this is a cycle, and you have to make them understand that okay, you will grow beard, you will grow your hair, your menses will come, your breast will also grow. But this is a time of anxiety, so we have to make them understand that this is a very important period of life. Nutrition is very important because you are growing. You need to eat, as Dr. Sonal Ben said, that just doing exercise is not enough. Eating proper balanced diet is very important in this adolescent health.
Dr. Riddhi, as we mentioned that at times most of the people try to address this issue in individuality. मतलब अकेले बच्चे के साथ बात करते हैं. मैं कई बार सोचती हूँ कि सब सारे बच्चों को, इवन पूरे क्लास को या पूरे ग्रुप को इकट्ठा बिठा के बात की जाए, इंक्लूडिंग द बॉयज एंड गर्ल्स टुगेदर. तो क्या हो जाएगा कि एक बहुत क्लैरिटी आएगी, वरना हम 1:1 ही बात करते रहते. तो 1:1 के साथ पूरे ग्रुप को इकट्ठे बिठा के जब बात करेंगे तो आपस में जो पीयर प्रेशर है वो रिड्यूस हो जाएगा और एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग डेवलप होगी कि आज ये जल्दी ग्रो हुई है तो कल मैं थोड़ा कम मतलब आई एम बॉयज में स्पेशली देखा गया कि हाइट कम हो, फिजिक कम है, छोटा लग रहा है, तो ज्यादा पीयर प्रेशर में आ जाते हैं बिकॉज वो मैचोइज्म की बात आ जाती है उस वक्त, बिकॉज दे आर ऑल्सो गोइंग थ्रू द एज ऑफ वो बोलते ना मैंने प्यार किया वाला कहानी स्टेज वाला. तो वो सब चीजें हैं विच आई थिंक वन इम्पॉर्टेंट इज दे शुड, आई एम आस्किंग बोथ ऑफ यू, आई ऑलवेज प्रेफर टू टॉक and address in a group, also 1:1, yes, but also to the whole group, so that there is less issue of peer pressure here.
I am going to various school for sex health education, and what I have started recommending them that you, whenever I am conducting the session, I ask them, do not separate boys and girls. Let them sit together. Let the boys also see what are the bodily parts of the girls, and let the girls see that what are the bodily part of the boys. Because see, that curiosity is always there, and that is absolutely a normal behavior. It's not an abnormal behavior. If your young girl is asking about boys part, that mama, what is boys part? Why do they grow beard? What are my breast? Or a boy is asking that mama, why Didi is having, what are these pads, and why Didi is asked to take rest during menses. So always take the session with boys and girls together. Never separate them.
And Ridhiti, that is what I think that is more important is, rather than separating and then handing over. Sometimes there are pad distribution happening in the schools or in the society. लड़कियों को अलग बुलाया जाता है, हाथ में पैड दिया जाता है, फिर जेब में डाल के बोले आप जाइए. So I think that kind of openness is required so that the understanding is there between boys and girls, that everything is normal. It's just like any other, even with the boys and even with the girls.
Yes.
So coming to your next slide.
Yeah, then coming to my next slide, that sex एक बहुत गंदी चीज है. कभी बच्चा पूछ लेता है तो हम उसको एक थप्पड़ लगा देते, करे ये कहाँ से सीख गया, ये बहुत गंदी चीज है.
और ये भी तो बोलते हैं ये किसने बताया तुझे, कहाँ देख कर आया,
ये किसने बताया, कहाँ से सीख के आया. So that is not proper. It is parents' responsibility, it is teachers' responsibility, it is any family member's responsibility, or it is any adult's responsibility to show them that what is sex, what is mating, what is female body, what is the role of sex. It is not just for the pleasure. It is very important part of a procreation. This is how the human life or any generations are coming up. So you can teach them very well by showing these beautiful pictures, that this is what it is called mating. In male, in animals it is different, in insect it is different, in human body it is different. So if you are teaching your child something about sex, it is not something wrong. So we have to teach them in a very decent manner.
बहुत सही बोला आपने दीदी, क्योंकि एक बार ये चीज भी होती है कि जनरली दे लर्न फ्रॉम देयर फ्रेंड्स हु आर देमसेल्फ लर्निंग एंड दे आर हार्डली लर्निंग फ्रॉम द एजुकेटर्स एंड द पेरेंट्स.
True.
Coming to this.
And so coming to this slide, see this, if you will see that so many young girls are visiting me, that my private part has some abnormality, my lips are long or short or this or that. This picture which you are seeing, you will be surprised that this is a picture of one museum in London made by an artist called James McCarthy. There are 400 natural variants of female external genitalia, and this museum was created. The sole purpose is to generate awareness, and various schools are visiting this museum. There are pictures. These are the molded cast created from female genitalia as well as male genitalia. So in Western culture, the school is taking their kids to this museum and showing them that these are the natural variants. So if Western world can create this kind of awareness, maybe in Indian society it can be difficult. But I have so many young girls coming to me that, doctor, I want Barbie vagina, I want designer vagina. These are the things. See how they have learned these things. So as I said, they are Googling lot many things. So when they do come to me, I have to explain them, see, whatever you have got is normal, it is a natural, it is a variation, but still, if you want some alteration, it is possible. Next slide.
When it comes to boys, I think that is what is also equally important, that when it comes to boys, because जब हम एक family, एक society, healthy society की बात करते हैं, या even we are talking about protecting the girls, and teach your boy to protect the girl, but the boy should be taught about himself also, both the things. So that is this certain issues are never discussed. So in very short, if we can take this forward, that would be nice.
Yeah, again the boys are visiting that penis size is normal or not. Many of the parents, they, even if boy is asking, because see what they see is many of the boys do not know that penis is very small in the size when it is not erect. Proper size of penis is gained when a penis is erect. Even the mothers are not knowing. So it is a father's responsibility, or even if a boy is asked by mother, so mother has to explain, or a parent has to explain, or a teacher has to explain that size of penis can be varied. Whatever you got, it can be normal. If they have still some questions, if they cannot answer the question, then they should be brought to a health educator or to a doctor, rather than making them shut up that you do not talk about it. This is not our talk. You cannot ask your mother, you cannot ask father. So that has to be go away, and we, being a responsible citizen, has to educate them that if there is a morning erection, or if it is a nightfall, or a boy cannot wake up early in the morning, these are natural phenomena.
I will try to pause here, Dr. Radhi.
Yeah, sure.
Because this is so common, because many times the schools are so early, and when it comes to boys, when it comes to nightfall, and also boys have got to say they are late in the school and they have been scolded also for these reasons. Dr. Sonal, here I would like to ask why it is that the girl has to be taught by the mother and the boys have to be taught by the father. What do you think? What are your views on this?
Yes, that will be appropriate actually, because it is natural that girls will be more, they will be अच्छी तरह से सुन सकते हैं, मतलब positively सुन सकते हैं from mother, and boys can really understand well from father. So that should be the natural way of talking, and it should be in a very normal way. See, the communication skill is very important. Open communication, and open communication only comes whenever a girl or a boy asks any question to a mother or a father. It is only possible when they don't judge or evaluate them. Whatever is the question, whether it is some unusual question, it is a trivial question, but they should give them the answer with lot of love and care, because they don't know anything about it. So that is more important.
So thank you so much, Dr. Sonal. Dr. Riddhi, we're coming to the feminine issue after talking about the men's issue. Generally in feminine issue, when we talk about menstruation is the only one which is discussed. So let's talk about some more issues which a female may face during this transition between adolescence to adult or young adult.
Yeah, as I said that so many young girls are having curiosity about the sex, virginity status, masturbation. We live in a society where male masturbation is celebrated, and but if she is asking about something, or if female, some young girl, if she is masturbating, she is be punished, or mother feels that something is very wrong, and my daughter has something abnormal. So we need to teach them each and every aspect of sexual cycle. We have to address their curiosity, and we have to make them understand. Say that we live in a society where what is Indian culture, what is our society aspect, want you to be behave in a certain manner, but of course it is an individual status. So if girls can also have certain desire, what we have to make them understand that there should not be any infections, no unintended pregnancy, even if they are married. That does not mean if she is married, if she does not want a pregnancy, if she want to postpone her pregnancy, that is all her right. And every human being, male and female, they should not get any unwanted infection. So nowadays, do not get into a sexual relationship is no more a question. I see so many young clients,
but Didi, when it comes to the kind of culture which we all belong to, especially हम जब बात करते हैं, so it is more about I would really want to the kids actually don't get into such kind of relationship as a
true.
So Dr. Sonal, if I'm as a mother, okay, as a mother of a daughter, mother of a son, how do I make my child explain to this that beta, everything is possible, but once you get married and have a healthy relationship, rather than getting it and trying to explore, because आज explore करना हम बोलते it is good कि आप उसको allow करो, but exploration is not a good sign when it comes to unwanted. So, I mean, in our culture, I am also very conservative parent, and I don't know how to explain to the kids with respect to these aspects.
एक्चुअली ये हमारी चैलेंज ही है. जैसे अर्ली एडोलेसेंस की कुछ चैलेंजेस है, ऐसे लेट एडोलेसेंस की ये चैलेंज है. अभी मतलब नाउअडेज सेक्सुअल अब्यूज जैसे हमारे सिटी में, अहमदाबाद में, ऐसे कॉस्मोपॉलिटन सिटी में है, लेकिन इतना नहीं है जितना कैजुअल सेक्स है. कैजुअल सेक्स क्या है कि उसमें इट कम्स विद एज एन इम्पल्सिव एक्ट रादर देन अ कॉन्शियस चॉइस. So they don't know that there are so many consequences of sex.
Because ये सब क्या हो रहा है, Dr. Sonal, they say this all following the Western culture. And आजकल Western influence इतना ज़्यादा है कि I am sure all those parents and the teachers who are watching us, they always have these issues how to make them explain this. कि बेटा अभी नहीं.
And the pornography is also an issue. Pornography is a video story or a picture that has been designed to make someone feel aroused. And all porn is fantasy. Actually, it is a fantasy, and it is far from the reality. And watching a porn is a choice. It is okay if you don't watch the porn, because sometimes many a times it makes you upset and also uncomfortable. And they create a wrong views about sexuality, which is very difficult to remove also. And that affects their sexual life in future also. So casual sex is not okay at all. At the same time, we need to make them understand that sexuality is a physiological phenomenon, and this happens with every human, every animal. But more important is expressing it in a responsible way. See, sexuality, every part in the body has its own function. Every system has its own function. So sexuality is also has its own function. Like short-term function is getting pleasure, but there are long-term functions. Like it creates the capacity to love. It creates long-term relationship. So there are so many long-term functions also. And as I said, most important is expressing it in a responsible way. Like it should not harm one own self or other person. And at the same time, it should be a conscious choice rather than an impulsive act. Uh,
very true, Dr.
See,
Sunil, because आपने जो
Kritika,
बात
if I have to tell कि
हाँ हाँ
कैसे कैसे हम अपने बच्चों को समझा सकते हैं,
जी
तो
जी
एक चीज बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है कि अगर हमको अपने बच्चों को वेस्टर्नाइज कल्चर से बचाना है तो हर एक स्टेज में बचाना है. जब बच्चा सर्टेन स्टेज के mothers or fathers, they usually boast about their kids कि my daughter is very modern, we are modern, हम इतना ये करते हैं. तो कोई कोई चीज में आप वो वेस्टर्न कल्चर फॉलो करते हो, एंड व्हेन इट कम्स टू सेक्स एंड रिलेशनशिप तब हम मना करते हैं तो बच्चा नहीं सुनेगा. So what we need to make them understand is कि how Indian culture is different from Western culture. That is one thing. You, by telling kids that is not enough. You have to live the life. Parents are the role model for the kids. So you yourself has to behave in certain manner. And second come when your child is in a relationship, you have to make them understand that there are various stages of relationship. This is how you should go ahead gradually on your relationship. And we have to make them understand that until and unless you are mentally compatible with somebody, until and unless you are into what we called is a sustainable relationship, or you are having some outcome of that relationship, then only you should indulge into the sex. Otherwise, casual sex should not be allowed by the parents, or should not be, because I have seen mothers, they usually boast, okay, no, we are very modern, my daughter is very modern, my son. See, it is not just about the daughter. You have to tell your son also that you should not indulge into a casual sex.
बिल्कुल सही कहा
Just
रिद्धि
not-
दीदी, because I think
हाँ.
there is a disparity when it comes to girls wearing clothes. We say we are modern because they wear short clothes, but when it comes to relationship we become conservative. So वो जो
Yes.
adolescents and adults को वो जो confusion है, उस दो के बीच में वो लोग अटक जाते हैं. बहुत अच्छी तरह से आप दोनों ने बात की कि भी how we need to be very open to talk to them, and just like on a dinner table also this conversation can be taken forward, not only behind the doors. So I really like the next issue is about the male also. The आपकी जो next PPT about the issues having masculine issues क्या है? So can we talk further on this?
Yeah. Similarly, boys are also curious about size of testicle. There can be a different size of testicle. There are few blood vessels prominent on the testicles, or sometimes there are the pain in the testicles, because that is sometimes these kind of pain, breast pain or a testicular pain, is a part of normal adolescent. Because they are growing, this can be pain. So we have to make them understand that whatever you are growing through is a part of your adolescent, so that, as you said, that this conversation should be on the dinner table. So these kind of a conversation about body parts or a sex or casual sex or relationship should be started discussing within the family quite earlier age, and in a routine day-to-day manner, rather than कि बेटा आज मुझे तुमसे कुछ बात करनी है, आधे घंटे बैठना, फिर दरवाजा बंद करके आप कुछ बात करते हो, समझाते हो. No, that should not be there. It should be a part of routine conversation. As I said, that boys can also have certain issues regarding performance or erectile dysfunction. So until and unless you talk to them about natural things, if there is some abnormality, they will not come to you and they will not talk to you. So as far as when you want to make a society sexually healthy, when you want to make young generation sexually healthy, we have to understand that sexuality is a natural part of life and it involves more than sexual behavior. We have to recognize, no, the previous slide, we have to recognize and respect that every individual has a sexual right. We all share different sexual right. Having access to sexual health information, education, and a care is a right of every individual. If we give them a proper information, then they would not Google, they would not land up with the wrong messages or wrong information. Next.
Here I would
So-
like to, Diditi, so sorry,
Yeah.
I would just like to interrupt. You would like to ask Dr. Sonal. Dr. Sonal, what is the right age to talk to boys? आजकल लड़कियों के साथ बात करने के तो बहुत सारी बातें होती है कि what is the age and इस age पे लड़कियों से बात करनी चाहिए, because in their case when menstruation is seen, so they find कि बस उसके पहले is the right age. तो mothers definitely sit with the girls and say कि आजकल having first periods is not an issue. The girls are already aware of it. What is to be done? But what is the right age to talk to boys about it?
एक्चुअली गर्ल्स और बॉयज दोनों को, मतलब जब उनके मन में प्रश्न उठते हैं एंड व्हेन दे कम टू आस्क यू फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन, उसी टाइम पे ये रेपो बिल्डिंग बहुत जरूरी है कि उसी टाइम पे वो आप अप्रोप्रिएट लैंग्वेज में उनको समझाओ. दैट इज वन थिंग. एंड एज यू सेड, गर्ल्स को तो मदर समझाती है, बॉयज को प्यूबर्टी स्टार्ट्स एट द एज ऑफ 12 years. जैसे मैंने बोला कि 2 साल, आई मीन 2 years बाद में शुरू होता है. तो और मेजर चेंजेस दैट हैपेंस एंड दे आर मोर वरीड और कंसर्न अबाउट देयर चेंजेस वेट ड्रीम्स मेनली. तो ये उनको मतलब अराउंड 13 years के आसपास उनको समझा सकते हैं आराम से बिठा के कि दिस कैन हैपन टू यू, व्हिच इज एब्सोल्युटली नॉर्मल. सो यू नीड टू बी प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर दैट इन दैट वे.
Because generally girls के साथ तो क्या हो जाता है, there are various companies who are into selling sanitary pads. They come to the school, approach the school and start explaining as a part of their marketing, telling that हम लोग समझाने आए, but actually marketing ज़्यादा होता है. But when it comes to boys, and that is where the health of the society is very important, because girls and boys both need to understand. So what Dr. Riddhi and Dr. Sonal, both of you are talking about is a healthy society. Psychologically, psychosexual issues are also important. But now the best I would like to ask is, what is the best way to communicate? आज हम मतलब I have seen certain ladies in my circle also, when it comes to अरे मुझे तो इसके बारे में कुछ पता ही नहीं, they try to be so naive, so innocent, even at the age of 45-50 after delivering 2 kids as well. And then they behave as a very naive, because they feel कि ये जो issue है ना cannot be talked, cannot be discussed. So forget about talking on the dining table. They themselves are not ready to accept कि I can at this age of 50 also feel that okay, my kids are there and I need to be open to talk about it to them. So what is the best way to communicate, and how can the mother and the educator get that enough confidence to communicate?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So yes, there is definite role of parents, teachers, and educators, or they can talk about this sexuality in an appropriate way. But as you said, firstly, parents should know the basic science. Then only they would be able to make them understand. So and as I said, that open communication is very important. Whenever they ask any question, they talk to them in an appropriate manner with trust and respect. So which is very, very important, such that if anything wrong happens in their children's life or their girls or boys life, they come to know in well advance. They come.
Dr. Sonal, I'll just interrupt you here, because I just thought, because हम लोग क्या होता है कि our age parents have not gone through the school education system. जैसे Dr. Riddhi ने बताया कि I have always taught the chapter, so I'm very open. Like for me, it was when I joined teaching 12th standard biology, and I was like, I just taught the chapter, and the kids were just looking at me. I said, क्या हुआ? So he said, ma'am, we have never been taught this chapter. And the principal came to me and said, why did you teach this? I said, it was left. I just joined the school and only this chapter was left. And when I asked the kids which chapter is left, they said, madam, ये chapter बाकी है. So I taught the chapter. Now the question is, many of us नहीं, पर इसका प्रॉब्लम यहाँ आती है डॉक्टर सोनल, यहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम ये आती है कि as a mother, as a father, we ourselves don't know it. So don't you think there should be a proper Don't you think there should be a
It
proper
should be
workshop
taught
for
in
the
schools also. Yeah.
what I'm thinking is,
Teachers,
don't you think there should be a proper workshop for the father and the mothers also
Yes,
to understand
yes,
all these aspects
that is
and
the
then teach the
ultimate. That
kids?
is the ultimate answer. That is the ultimate answer. That everything is. Make them understand by an educator, because educator, like doctors, we doctors can make them understand very well. So that is the best part. But
हाँ,
even
because
teachers
माँ
have their
बाप ने
own
खुद
role.
सीखा नहीं है, समझा नहीं है, फिर माँ बाप अपने
एग्जैक्टली
एक्सपीरियंस ही
तो
शेयर
वहां
कर
से
रहे
बहुत ज्यादा तो नहीं एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते. सिर्फ इतना कर सकते हैं कि कुछ कुछ ऐसा चाहिए उनको, तो अभी उनको नेक्स्ट लेवल का मतलब ज्ञान देना है तो कहाँ से दे. तो दैट दे कैन डू, बट मेनली टीचर्स एंड एजुकेटर्स. तो टीचर्स में भी अभी जैसे है कि कुछ ऐसे पावरफुल स्ट्रक्चर्स अवेलेबल नहीं है कि साइंटिफिक इंफॉर्मेशन दे सके, बट देयर कैन बी अ पीयर ग्रुप एजुकेटेड लीडर्स. They can gather the information from right sources. They can involve subject experts, that which is very very important. So maybe जब भी मतलब आई यूज टू गो टू डिफरेंट स्कूल्स और पावर पॉइंट प्रेजेंटेशन से मैं दिस पूरा एजुकेशन देती थी. तो पहले यही था कि आई यूज टू गिव दिस टू गर्ल्स ओनली. तो जो भी लेडी टीचर्स है उनको पहले साथ में बिठाओ, अगर वो पीटी टीचर है तो भी उनको बिठाओ. तो क्या है कि उनका एक रेपो बनता है. तो साथ में सब सुनना, साथ में सब क्वेश्चंस पूछना, तो एक रेपो बन जाता है. तो बाद में भी, क्योंकि ये तो एक बार का हुआ, लेकिन बाद में अगर कुछ प्रॉब्लम होता है तो वो गर्ल्स के आर वेरी मच कंफर्टेबल विद द टीचर्स एंड आस्क देम क्वेश्चंस freely. So that is important. At the same time, society also needs to change the attitude, because in our society sexuality is considered to be a taboo. So not taking it in that way, but ultimately the ultimate answer is the scientific knowledge information. We have to make them understand through all this knowledge only. That is the only and only answer.
So nice.
So that is what
I think we'll just be quickly go ahead with certain PPTs which Riddhi has in one shot, and then one or two questions which I have in mind. I'm keeping a chat on FB. I'm asking all the viewers who are, I mean, I can see there are many viewers on FB. If you have any questions, please write in the chat that so that I can take it up. I have tried to address as many as I can from my end, but if you have, we can take these questions. Meanwhile, Riddhi, if you can just quickly go through the other PPTs.
yeah.
That you have
So
made.
the previous slide, just the previous slides. The first thing is that we have to prevent unintended pregnancy and sexually transmitted disease. Gitika, of course, we all, as far as we as a parent, we always feel that we want to be conservative. We want to protect my boy or girl from getting into a wrong relationship. But at the same time, I'm telling you that India is changing very fast. I have seen many girls who decides that they don't want to get married forever. They are quite independent, they are living their life, and they are into a sexual relationship. And what I feel that for everybody, the definition of sexual wellness is different. So if some girl, if she decides to remain independent, if she gets into a relationship, then what they do come to me is we have to prevent unintended pregnancy, or we guide them to take up care that she should not get infected by any anonymous partner or by other partners. India is changing very fast, Gitika. Here, single mother, young girls in a sexual relationship, mothers are bringing young girls to me that, doctor, my daughter is sexually active. Just make her understand that she should not end up with infection or pregnancy. So I know we do like to be conservative Indians, but things are changing fast. So to judge anybody by our definition is not right. World is changing very fast. If you will see, there are sexual wellness spas, there are sexual enhancing therapies. Perspective is different in Western world and Indian world, but India is also changing very fast. Next. So men and women, again, perspective is different, but we have to be very honest about problems, and we have to address sexual health of every client, whether they are married, unmarried, young, couple, or even if they're in mid age or later age. India is a male-driven or male-dominant society. If female is having some problem in her desire or achieving her orgasm, that has to be addressed properly. As we know that we have to reach out by print media, bookmarks, brochures, social media, talk shows like that, lecture. We are trying various things, and what you have seen, that this is a very good initiative. Just one slide ahead. What we have established, the one with my photograph, yes. So we have established an exclusive sexual health clinic where young girls, young boys, couples, or partners, they do visit with a very well-defined purpose. Their privacy is maintained. We have to hear them. We have to offer them various treatment. The ambience is different. We do meet them not in our white coat or as a doctor or in a typical hospital environment. There is a need of sexual health clinic in India to generate awareness, to give patient people their sexual health. No, just the one slide ahead. We have to address them properly. We have to keep in mind that we are dealing them with in India. So we have to make them understand socio-cultural context. We are offering online consultation as well. Next. And as you see that here what I have tried to do, just a slide ahead. Yeah, this is a model which we have made for boys as well as girls. We have made various bookmarks for the teenage or young generation, which gives them a subtle message in form of bookmarks. This is how you have to address the young generation. We have to address their concern in a most possible manner. Next. So, of course, the sexual health in Indian society is equally important. Global scenario versus Indian society is different, but we need not to be judgmental. We have to understand there is a paradox in the world, but we have to offer sexual wellness for each and every client, each and every age group. And this is what we see in COVID, that last slide, that sexual wellness can be different. So this is what we do all about my presentation. You can stop sharing the screen, and I would share my contact details. So if anybody is interested in asking about question, if they cannot ask openly, so they can write to us, and we'll be happy to address them as a social responsibility after this seminar for 1 week. If somebody is asking for a online consultation or they want to ask us, we'll be happy to address them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Riddhi. Yeah, I'll just quickly talk about one thing which I would like to share when it comes to, I'm so sorry, when it comes to Dr. Sonal Desai. Sonal Desai, I am actually very much impressed with this aspect of yours. This is the screenshot of your website which I've taken. She's especially having this Sahaj Care. And the Sahaj Care, when you talk about, there are short videos here. Almost this video is again almost an hour, yeah, an hour ka video. And I'll be very quick to showcase to you people that this is also something which is very important when it comes to, so when I was talking about workshop, if we are not able to go to the workshop, but if we are able to even download the video which Dr. Sonal has talked about, I'll be just, can you see these? I've just shared this.
I would like to add, Ritika ji, basically this film, actually I have put my hard work into it.
Dr. Sonal, I'll be showing this quickly. This is the film which can be downloaded from the video. It's a nice film.
And it is approved by Government of Gujarat.
Yes. So she has tried to make the entire process very simple in the form of animations, so that at least the parents and the teachers who want to understand these aspects and then show it to the kids, explain it to the kids, they can actually be useful initially. Instead of just Googling anywhere, you can just go to Sahaj. And I really liked it. I just downloaded and saw the whole video, and I was quite impressed with the way it has been put up in a nice way. So over to you, Dr. Sonal. Question again is, when we talked about, again, as we say, it has to be, I'll be quickly summing up. We are almost now 1 hour, 60 minutes as we planned of the session. we are now talking about two things. One is to be very open in the communication, and the second is the person who is communicating, whether it's an educator or it is about, it's not only about the biology teacher's responsibility. I'm sorry, it's a responsibility even of a PE
All
teacher
teachers.
as well, or an art
Absolutely.
teacher as well. So they also need to understand this aspect. They need to be taught properly, because उन्होंने अपने स्कूल में जो पढ़ा शायद भूल गए होंगे, फिर से पढ़ना जरूरी है. एक चैप्टर सबको पढ़ना जरूरी है. So a proper systematic workshop is required not only for the girls. आजकल स्कूल में लड़कियों के workshops हो जाते हैं, but as I said, girls and boys have to be taught together, and the teachers. And then coming to parents, parents don't go and to learn anywhere. Again, parents become Dr. Google. They go to Google, they understand, and then they try to make their kids understand. Instead of that, it's very important that the parents also sit properly, talk to the educators, talk to the experts like you, understand, and then go in a right way and teach their kids. I think that's very important when it comes to communication. One thing is very important, which we always, all of us would be having this question in mind, is that when it comes to this age, especially adolescents to young adult to adult, Dr. Sonal, most of the kids lose focus on academics, and they try to develop their social circle. And for their social circle, they get into the peer pressure. They go to the parties which they don't want to go. They behave in certain ways which they don't want to behave. At least they tell that in front of the parents. Okay, it was out of pressure. So how can you guide the parents to talk to about it with the kids? And how can they manage it both? As I said, as an educator also, we need to be very conscious. I remember if I used to see my kids going anywhere, sitting in the club and not sitting in my classroom, I used to ensure that to pick up from the club and bring them into the classroom, or in the morning tea, they're sitting in the theater.
You are fortunate enough कि वो आपके साथ आ जाता है.
So, as an educator and as a parent, how can I ensure that during this age, my kids don't lose focus from academics, and simultaneously understand that it is a part of the life? It is just one of the
True. It is a very important part of life actually. Yeah, that is true. अभी जो lifestyle है वो मतलब अभी ऐसा हो गया है कि ज्यादा रिलेशनशिप या तो ज्यादा पार्टी अटेंड करो, देन यू आर अ पर्सन के जैसे मतलब बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पर्सन है, ऐसा जो एस्टेब्लिश करना होता है, विच इज नॉट नीडेड एट ऑल. और उनका भी मतलब ऐसा कोई दे ऑल्सो डोंट नो what is the importance of academic excellence at some point of time. So it is our duty, parents' duty as well as teachers' duty to make them understand. और उनके लिए तो मतलब we have to show them the future. We have to show them what can they have. एवरी पोटेंशियल एक्चुअली हर एक बच्चे में एकदम पोटेंशियल रहता है, लेकिन उसको एक्सप्लोर कैसे करें, और अगर एक्सप्लोर कर सकते हैं तो क्या कर सकते हैं अगर एक्सप्लोर करें तो वी हैव टू शो देम द एंटायर पिक्चर एंड इनसाइड ऑफ देम व्हाट दे विल बी एबल टू डू, और उनको फिर हम सपोर्ट कर सकते हैं. उन लोगों को जो भी फिर हम फोर्स नहीं कर सकते कि आपको यही करना है, ऐसा नहीं है. हम उनको चॉइस भी दे सकते हैं और अकॉर्डिंगली दे कैन गो ऑन. बाकी अभी तो मतलब जैसे आपने बोला, मैं भी बिलीव करती हूँ, टाइम इतना मतलब ऐसा है कि it is very difficult to focus on academics actually, but ultimately that's the reality of life, because life depends on that only.
I think so. What I understand, let's be in the last winding up. It's very important that goal settings are required. Goal settings of academics, goal setting of an healthy society, healthy life, along with not only scoring how much marks in the 10th and 12th, and finally डॉक्टर बनना है या इंजीनियर बनना है या आर्टिस्ट बनना है. वो गोल सेटिंग के साथ साथ आपको अपनी लाइफ कैसे जीनी है, आपको क्या करना है अपनी लाइफ में, कैसे आगे बढ़ना है. आपकी पूरी जिंदगी आपको एक फिल्म की तरह, जैसे आपने फिल्म बनाई वैसे आपके सामने आपकी जिंदगी एक फिल्म की तरह आ जाए. आई थिंक दैट विल हेल्प एवरीवन. एंड देन शेयरिंग योर ड्रीम्स विद द एजुकेटर्स, शेयरिंग योर ड्रीम्स विद द पेरेंट्स, किड्स. आई एम सॉरी बट वी हैव ट्राई टू टेक योर इश्यूज एज वेल. एंड या आपके इश्यूज में एक चीज बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि आप लोगों को अपने पापा मम्मी के साथ, अपने टीचर्स के साथ आपके ड्रीम्स शेयर कीजिए. Dreams not only with respect to professional self, but dreams with respect to your social self also. वो भी एक ड्रीम आपका एक गोल होना चाहिए कि आप कैसे सोशली, आप कैसा सोशल स्टेटस लाइफ में चाहते हो और आप कैसे सोशली एक लाइफ जीना चाहते हो, वो भी आप शेयर कीजिए. On this note, thank you so much. And this was the 4th episode. I know I hope we did justice, Dr. Riddhi, with
Geetika
you.
ji, I would like to
Hanji.
tell one point that this is the name of the website. Can you
Ji.
see that? It's www.sahajcare.org.
I will do one thing is I will share it again on my PPT. I have put it up on my PPT. So that is done. Yes, I have already taken
more and more adolescents can take.
So this is Sahaj, SAHAGCARE, sahajcare.org. And the moment you go on there, you will find videos. You can download the video. Here, you can click on the download. You will have 3 versions, English, Hindi, and Gujarati. So you can download in whichever version is convenient to you.
See them from the screen also. Watch the film, English, Hindi, and Gujarati. They can directly watch the film on YouTube also.
So yeah, I actually did that. मैंने कहा कि फिर उस वक्त नहीं पूरा वीडियो नहीं दिखा पाऊँ, at least screenshot लेके I can.
Right.
So thank you so much. Thank you everyone. This is a wonderful time, and we have Nandita Munshaji with us. Nandita Munshaji, as usual, I always love the way you are always encouraging each and every one of us during the entire session, being quite behind the curtain, but very active. So your a parting note at your end.
Hello everyone. Very good evening to all of you. And thank you so much, Dr. Sonal Ben Desai, Dr. Riddhi Ben Shukla. It has been a wonderful, wonderful session today, and a lot of learning for the parents, for the teachers, for everybody at large. And I think, I personally feel that even the pandemic has taught us a lot of things. Being alone, not being socially so much active, but still doing a lot of things, lot of inward looking at yourself inwardly, and doing so many things. So probably that also may bring about a change in the society and bring about a positive change in the society. So probably let's hope for the best. And education is very important in this regard, and I think your presentation and your films, I'm sure, are going to be very, very helpful to the society at large. Thank you so much for your support and for coming here on this platform. And thank you, Geetika, for moderating the session so well. Thank you, DPS.
Thank you, DPS. We almost hijacked your 1 month on the Facebook. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. And as a part of the education and skill development cell, we thought let's take up this part as an education today on the Facebook, generally, which is not addressed. And I hope we did justice with it, with 2 wonderful members who are who are good and experts. You are aware of it, Dr. Sonal Desai and Dr. Riddhi Ketan Shukla. Thank you so much. At this end, I take your leave and do connect with both of them, as both of them said that you can connect with them for at least for the next 1 week after this session gets over, so that they will be able to guide you in a proper way. Again, I'm telling parents, educators, please ensure that you first understand it in the right perspective. Then you be ready, prepared enough. And this is each and every individual has to know, each and every, including the peons. So because we are the parent as well, and we are there in the school system because we are taking care of the kids around us. And many a times the peons are the people who watch a lot of things happening, which even the teachers don't know what's happening in the school. So in that case, it has to be, I would really request, that is, I've been thinking of addressing this issue for such a long time, especially when it comes to education system, is sit together and don't talk it behind the closed door. First, in the auditorium, if we all sit together and understand this aspect, I think we'll be हमें फिर निर्भया वभया ये सब discuss करने की जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ेगी. Things will be very, I think that's the root behind this whole thing. Thank you so much. And with this note, yes,
I want to add one thing, that actually on Tuesday 4 to 6 and on Thursday 4 to 6, any of Tuesday, any of the Thursdays, on my phone number, which is there in the film, anybody can ask me any question regarding health and sexuality.
Would you just say your phone number so I can put it in the comment on Facebook so that people can get to know? Same with Dr. Riddhi Shukla. Can you just say that? 99.
It is 798.
99798.
70.
70.
223.
2 to 3. Dr. Sonal Desai.
Thursday and Tuesdays, 4 to 6.
All right. Thank you so much. Thursday and Tuesday, 4 to 6.
Not only for this month. कभी भी पूछ सकते हैं आफ्टर 1 month ऑल्सो फ्यूचर. अभी तो मेरे काफी सारे गर्ल्स ऐसी है कि जिन्होंने मैंने 8th स्टैंडर्ड में कुछ मतलब ऐसे एजुकेशन दिया और अभी मतलब बच्चे मतलब प्रेग्नेंट है और मुझे क्वेश्चन पूछ रही है. सो एनी टाइम यू कैन आस्क मी अ क्वेश्चन.
Thank you so much for being so generous. Thank you so much for being so generous.